All right, welcome to CodeDesk. I'm going to give a brief overview of what CodeDesk is and how it works, so that you can hit the ground running and get to programming without things holding you back. So CodeDesk is an online environment where you can write and execute code. It is built primarily with the intention of being more like a classroom setting where I, as the teacher, would give you assignments that you come in here and complete within CodeDesk. But it does also offer the ability for you to create your own projects and play around in a sandbox environment all on your own. But the beauty of it is that you can write and execute code within your browser. You don't have to create your own development environment on your own computer. Your computer doesn't even have to actually be able to run any of the coding software itself. This is all done in a browser. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to create an account, and I'm going to fill this out. Use my Gmail account. Put in my name, and I'm going to register as a student. I'm going to go ahead and create a password so that I can log in with that. Create the account, and as we can see, I am automatically logged in. This is the dashboard here. This link here at the top left always brings us back to this. So does dashboard. And then we have projects and we have sign out. We'll get to projects in a few minutes. But for now, let's go ahead and join a class. This is something that you need from whoever created the course that you'll be working on. So I've created one here specifically for this demo. Now that we've joined, you can see we have our list of classes here. We've only got the one. Let's click into it, and we got a list of our assignments here. As you can see, we have multiple different types of assignments here. We have code, we have SQL, we have web, and then a few more code. And you can see on the left here that these code assignments have different languages: Python, Java, our web ones are HTML. SQL doesn't have a language, it's just SQL. C# and Python, all of these are supported within CodeDesk natively. So let's go ahead and click on our Python greeting generator. You can see at the top here, this is an announcement that I put out on this particular assignment. If you were in the middle of working on this assignment, and if we were working on this in class or whatever, and I wanted to point something out to everybody in the class, this would be a good way for me to do it, and it would pop up on your screen while you're working on it so that you can see, hey, this is something to pay attention to. So let's click got it for that one. Here we have the instructions for the assignment. This section here is going to explain what it is that the assignment is for, like what you're supposed to do in it. This particular one, we're supposed to ask the user for their name, ask them for their favorite color, and then print out this line here that says, hello name, your favorite color is color. And so the example would be, this is what the output would look like. It gives us a tip here to use input to read from the stdin. That just stands for standard in, standard input. This would be like if this app were running on the console, the user would be able to type in values during the execution. That's not quite how it works here in CodeDesk, because this is not a console application. This is running in the web. So things work a little bit differently, but we'll go over that so that it shouldn't be too confusing. Each assignment has the ability to have some starter code, as you can see right here. This is generally the way I design assignments, is I give you the instructions, and then I structure the code with some starter code so that right off the bat you can run your code. It will run without fail. and then it gives you to-do items in order to add to the code and whatnot in order to complete what you're supposed to complete. Down at the bottom, we have test cases. This particular assignment has 2 different test cases. These are things that the teacher sets so that it can validate that what your code does puts out the right output. And then right here in the middle, we've got the Start Project button. So let's go ahead and start it. This brings us to our CodeDesk Editor with the predefined code pulled up already in here. We've got a few different panes here. Over here we have the Files pane. Right now we just have the one file, main.py. We can create new ones, test.py or tets.py if you can't spell like me. And we can come over here and we can mark this as the entry point. Or we can get rid of it. We're going to get rid of it because we don't actually need it for this. So that'll bring us back here. And in the center here, this is our code editor window. This is a full-featured code editor, very similar to if you've ever messed with VS Code. It has autocomplete. It has, as you can see, syntax, highlighting, coloring, just the whole works. It's full-featured here. So it's not like typing something in Notepad. You don't have to. It's not that primitive. Down below that, we've got standard in or sensor data. This allows us to generate data from like Internet of Things, like a sensor or a Raspberry Pi or something like that. We're not going to get into that today, but it's something so that you can test some of your Internet of Things code and that type of stuff without actually having to have it plugged into something, because CodeDesk runs on a website, so you can't actually plug sensors into it. So there's a way to simulate that. Here, the standard in, you enter your input here, 1 value per line. What that means is every time you do something like name equals input, you have to put something here on a line for each one of those times. So our assignment is asking for name and color. So we're going to go ahead and enter those here. 2 different lines, Abe for the first entry, purple for the second. Here we have input files. We'll go over that a little bit later. But basically you can upload files here that you can process within your code. Finally, down at the bottom, we've got the console. This is where the output comes out. And you've got a copy and a clear here, just for ease of use. So let's cover what we've got at the top here. Here we have our language selector. These are all the different languages that CodeDesk supports. We have an autosave that automatically saves your code every time you change something. There's a version history. Every time you run your code, it saves here into the version history, so you can go back and restore it at an earlier point if you want. We've got our submit button for whenever we're finished with this assignment, we can submit it for grading. We have a run tests button here, and this will execute the tests that we looked at on the assignment page and tell us whether they pass or not. We can go ahead and do that. Nope, our tests don't pass because it expected these, and that's not what it got. That's expected because we didn't change anything. Then we've got our run button. We can go ahead and run it. It outputs this here into your name, but that's where it ends. It doesn't do anything else because we didn't actually do anything else. Again, that's to be expected, but that's what the output looks like. We've got our help button here, which I will cover later. And then the final button we've got here is our keyboard shortcuts. This will bring up a little cheat sheet so you can see what keyboard shortcuts can do what. So I'm going to go ahead and finish out this code real quick. We're going to replace this line with color equals input, enter your favorite color. And I'm actually going to print a blank line right here just for formatting. As you can see, comments are completely ignored, just like when you're actually executing the code. So here we go. Right now we've got enter your name, enter your favorite color, and again, here in our input is where those is going to actually get those get that input from. So we're going to do one final line. And what was it that we had to make it say? Hello, name, your favorite color is period, I think. So let's go ahead and run that. Oh, we needed to put another blank line. All right, enter your name, enter your favorite color. Hello, Abe, your favorite color is purple. We can even run our tests now. Hey, both of them passed. Awesome. So let's go ahead and submit this. That's the extent of this assignment. And that's how the Python works. So one thing I want to cover a couple other types of projects, just so you can see how to do everything with the different types of things. So next we're going to do a web project with a PHP backend file. This is kind of a starter project. We don't need to necessarily read all of the instructions here because we're not actually doing the entire project. I'm just showing you how this works. But as you can see, we have an HTML file here. We have a couple of other files here, a JavaScript file and a style file. Nothing in either of these because we're not using them just yet. But you can see it's already pulled in here. So it's there. If we were to type something in right now, and hit send message, here we're going to get an error. Form target not found. Process.php. That's because you'll notice there is no process.php, but that's what our form action is going against. So that's something we're going to have to create. So let's create process.php. And it'll automatically switch over there to it. PHP. So here we're going to echo out and we're just going to put in what the user put. Now we don't have to do this, but this is a very good thing is to use our HTML special characters as a way of helping combat against cross-site code injection. So we're just going to put that anytime that we're using post information. Close that. Then we're going to do a new line. And this is spitting out HTML, so you don't actually, I know many of you might not actually know what all this is. That's okay. You don't have to know it all. We're just, this is just the example that we're going through. So again, we're going to get the post, email, do another line break, and finally with the message, let's break this onto another line. All right. So that should get us what we need. Let's go ahead and try it again. And here we go. Name, Abe Westfall, yada yada. So that's how the PHP injection works, or PHP interception of form submission works. There's a dedicated SQL module built into CodeDesk as well. This looks a little bit different because the nature of SQL projects are a little bit different. But we're going to go ahead and take a look at this one. The assignment here is to create different queries that pull out this information. Pretty much all of the assignments, SQL assignments, have a pre-seeded database with tables and data and everything in them. So let's just dive right in. All right. So here we've got two different queries. The first one here, I think the first one it said was to look up all the books by a certain author and order them by the author's or the book title. So here we go. We'll run that. We've got 10 rows of data down here, and we can see there in alphabetical order. We can see the name of the author. And then we had a second query where to pull all the authors from America. So let's go ahead and run that one. Yep, here we go. Mark Twain, Toni Morrison are the only American authors. We can check that. Let's go ahead and just click on authors here. Run it, and we get the list of authors here. There's only 5 authors. 2 of them are from the US, just like we saw before. And then we have UK, Colombia, and Japan. So as you can see on our left here, we have the schema of our database. We've got our different tables with the individual fields within each one. So this one has the 3 tables here. We also have the ERD diagram, which lets us see the relationships between the different tables here. And this is a read-only assignment here, so we can write select statements and join and that kind of stuff. We can't write update queries because this is a read-only. But there are times where that the assignment will include update queries. And so you can potentially completely destroy the assignment database, and that's so this reset button here is for that. It'll reset it to the default state. All right, so that's about it for SQL. Let me see. I think that let's check out some file processing here. Okay. This assignment gives us a file called scores.csv, and then it has us do some manipulation of the data in order to display certain things. The way I built this is it'll run right off the bat, but it's got a couple of things that it wants you to do here. So let's go ahead and start this project. As you can see, we've got our lockdown scores.csv. This means that the teacher provided this as part of the assignment. It's an assignment file, so there's nothing we can do about it. It's there whether we want it to be or not. Again, as I said, the starter code will actually run just fine. Let's go ahead and run it. And we get that there are 8 students in the scores.csv file. And we can take this and manipulate it further if we were so inclined to, but I just wanted to show how input files work. We can actually do this in 2 other ways. If you're just working on your own assignment or something and you want to include your own CSV, you can create another CSV here and then paste in, something like that. You have your own list of data right here that you can loop through in your code. Beyond that, you can upload your own CSV files here, or it doesn't have to be CSV. It really can be any file. You can read flat files, you know, text files, or you can read markdown files, that kind of thing. So whatever kind of file you want to put in here and process through, you can. You could put SQL files in here and you know, execute them against the database if you're connected to a database, that kind of thing. So this is there's lots of different things that you can do here. Lots of ways to manipulate files and read them and everything. So, all right. There was one last thing I wanted to cover as far as this stuff is concerned. So we're going to go ahead and pull up the C# temperature converter. This is a project that wants you to that it provides us with the question of whether they want to convert Fahrenheit to Celsius, and then it has them enter a temperature, and then the rest of the assignment is for us to do that actual manipulation. So let's go ahead and start this project. Let's say we're kind of stumped. We don't really know what to do. Let's bring in our helpful assistant here. This is an AI assistant here that will help you help guide you to the right answers, but it will not give you the answers. It's much more effective if you share your current code, but considering you know, everybody has different privacy concerns, you are able to ask it questions without sharing your code, and that is fine. At that point, all it will have is the assignment instructions and that kind of thing, and so it will be a little bit less helpful in guiding you, but it will do its best. So let's just be completely vague and act like we don't know what we're doing and ask it, what do I need to do? Now, if you were to go into Claude or ChatGPT or something and you were to paste the instructions and say, what do I need to do? It would most likely just spit out the code that you need. But that's not the point of this assistant. This is in order to help guide you in the right direction. So it's going to try and it's going to help you get there. So looking at your code, you have the input part working. You're getting the user's choice and the temperature value. Now you need to complete the conversion logic. What do you think should happen after you get the input? Think about it step by step. The to-do comment gives you a hint about it. So here we're going to go ahead. We're just going to create an if statement. If choice equals Fahrenheit, come on. All right, so we got an else if. Now, what we want to do is inside this if statement is create a new variable that holds the temperature of our new temperature. But we can't create it inside the if statement and then try and access it at the end. So we're going to go ahead and create it first here. Double new temp. And that's it. So in here, we want to do the conversion new temp equals, what is it? Temp minus 32 times 5.9 or something like that. And so now if we're converting from Celsius to Fahrenheit, new temp is going to be the plus 32 times 9, 5. And then we'll come down here and we're going to write out the new temp. All right, let's run that. Let's see. Oh, I forgot a semicolon. Oh, messed up on a line. Oh, I do this all the time. So this asks for input twice, but we didn't actually put any input in here because I always forget to do it. So let's just do F and 44. And so now when it asks us on line 11 and line 6, it's actually line 8 here. When it asks us these questions, we've got information put in, so now it'll run for us. All right, so converting from Fahrenheit to Celsius, the temperature was 44 and we get out 27. I'm not sure that's right, so let's double check here. Are my conversions correct? All right, it tells me to look at 15. This is where I have, but the formula instructions actually ought to be F minus 32 in parentheses. So let's add parentheses around it. Then for our second one down here, it ought to be temp. Oh no, that's for the Celsius, but here's pretty sure what we do. I don't remember. I think we move the plus 32 over, so we do this part in parentheses and then plus 32. How about now? All right, conversion formulas look correct. Perfect. Now it's going to go, this is actually going to read out the, remember it knows the instructions here. So it's going to tell us to look at the output. It's showing 27, but instead of showing something like 98.6 degrees Fahrenheit, E equals 37.0 as shown in the example. What do you think is missing in our console.write line? New temp on line 21. What about the rounding in the to-do comment? So this helper here, this is AI, but it's not here to give you the answer. It's just to help you get to the right place in the end. So let's go back here. On the off the screen here, I am going to let's see. I'm going to give some feedback on the assignment that we submitted earlier. All right. And so as we go back to our dashboard here, we see not only did we get this notification, but we got it right here. The notification is that we got some feedback on our Python greeting generator. And so here the overall feedback was good job. And on this particular line, line 5 here, we got a good idea feedback in order to put the blank line in there. So there we go. That's the feedback. Go ahead and dismiss that. I do believe that we have covered just about everything. Let me check my list to make sure. Here on our projects page, we can see the different projects that we have created here. These are going to be our class projects. These are the ones that we've opened and modified so far. And down at the bottom here, we have a few networking tools that you're welcome to check out on your own. These are not things that are necessarily part of assignments, although the topology builder could be. Up at the top here, we have import Flowgorithm. This will take a Flowgorithm program and convert it into one of these 5 different codes and do its best to turn it into a program that can actually run. Not everything in Flowgorithm translates directly to an executable set of code, but it does its best. So for some who may have used Flowgorithm in courses and whatnot, this is a way to take those things that you've been working on and see the code as it would be from them. Here we have SQL Sandbox. You can start this with an empty database, or because we're in the course that has the bookstore database, we can open it there. This looks similar to the assignment. This is just a way that you can do your own sandbox projects on in SQL, and also you can create your own code project in any of the languages that are supported by CodeDesk, and there's quite a few of them. So feel free to play around and check things out and just have some fun with it. But that is it as far as the walkthrough is concerned. Feel free to hit me up with questions, concerns, feedback, and that kind of thing. And I look forward to seeing you guys using this. That was, in fact, not everything that I wanted to cover. There are 2 things that I just wanted to cover real quick, though, that I've forgotten. So the first one of those is database connectivity. So we're going to come here into our Java assignment and start the project. And CodeDesk supports SQLite database connection in Java, Python, Node, and there's a couple others, but it's the principles of connecting to a database are the same no matter which type of database you're connecting to. So for purposes of CodeDesk, I have added in SQLite connectivity, and so the connection here where you create the connection, this is going to be the same no matter what type of database system you're using. It's just in when you're using like MySQL or Postgres, your connection string will look different here, but as far as the actual using, querying the database and everything is concerned, it's all going to look the same in the code once you've made the connection. And the way this works is whenever the teacher creates assignments, they can add a SQL file here, and this is an assignment file that has been added by the teacher, and then the CodeDesk system actually takes it and creates the SQLite database in the background. And we can take a look at that file here if we want, just to see the structure of it and what kind of data there is. And then we're just going to go ahead and run this. And as you can see, we have 8 students, and then it lists all 8 of them out right here. And so this is Java code here that connects to a database and reads from it, and you can also write to it and everything. It's just normal database operations. So then the final thing I wanted to point out is network enabled assignments. You'll notice on this one here we have net with the green. That means this particular assignment has the capability of connecting to the internet. Now, by default, the rest of the projects are siloed. They don't call out, and that's on purpose in order to prevent any kind of abuse of the system and whatnot. And for the purpose of learning code, you generally don't need to speak to other systems. However, there are times when that's appropriate, and so here's a quick little example I put together that has networking enabled, and this will allow us to actually reach out to public systems and connect to the databases there. So first thing I'm going to do is, well, I could do it up here where it tells me I'm going to do JSON loads. Actually, I'm going to just pull this up. All right, so I've got this pulled up. Give me just a second to copy and paste it in. I'm a big fan of not rewriting stuff, plus my memory's terrible. So here I've created a variable called weather data, and I've loaded the data from the URL that we opened up here. This is going to pull down Atlanta weather information. So again, I'm just going to copy and paste this here down here. This is going to print out our temperature, our wind speed, and our conditions. So let's go ahead and run it. My clicks aren't clicking very well. There we go. So we see our Atlanta weather. Temperature is 59.9 right now. Wind speed of 7. Conditions partly cloudy. So that is the actual end of the walkthrough. But I forgot to mention databases and network enabled projects, and I just wanted to make sure that I covered that. So now I hope everybody enjoys using the system, and I will appreciate any feedback.